Hello, my name is Olga Ilkina. I'm working as YMCA Europe Executive Secretary for Movement Strengthening. And today we are happy to have a conversation with Anthony Camilleri, who is the Secretary General of YMCA Malta. Hello, Anthony. How are you?
Hello, Olga. I am good. I am good.
Thank you. Thank you so much for finding time. YMCA Europe is developing and implementing the educational course on different topics, including fundraising and partnership. And we are so happy that you agreed to talk a little bit about your own experience on this topic and to provide some tips to young leaders of civil society organizations how to be successful in fundraising. We know that you have huge experience and you're working not only with the foundations. So we so much appreciate that you found the opportunity to talk to us today. And if it's okay, let's start with the first and very simple question. What are the biggest and smallest amount you have fundraised?
I think that if I remember correctly, the smallest amount that we have fundraised in Malta was simply 80 euros. And the biggest one, which is something relatively new, and it's something that happened this year, it's 1.6 million euros.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Which is
Amazing.
something that we are still working upon, and we will sign the contract very soon.
Yeah, congratulations. This is amazing. What are the main means of fundraising do you use? And just if to talk about these sums, like specifically, what were the means of fundraising?
I think first and foremost, I have to start from the development of fundraising in Malta, because we have sort of developed our ways of how we fundraise in YMCA in Malta. It all started from from fundraising with the cans, you know, the small cans that we carry around. We go around people asking for money and say, listen, can you help YMCA? Give us €1.
I see, like in cash, yeah?
Exactly. So it all started from there. You know, we had this mentality that fundraising was something that you do with the cans. But then it developed from there, from asking people, either people in the streets or people in the shops. You know, like I can think of McDonald's, they always have this box in their counter, on their counter, and they're asking money from people. So we had this development from there, and we came to quite something bigger, like creating festivals, for example, or creating a car wash, or creating an auction. So that is the first thing, this kind of development of fundraising. But then the second important thing, I think, is that we have put fundraising as a pillar in our programs. In Malta, we have four particular programs, four particular streams that we work through. And one of our stream is what we have called social business program.
I see.
And it has five main particular kind of objectives, let's put it that way. The first one is that this particular program looks into social objectives and what we want to bring out of there, like what are the desired outcomes. We want to create methods to improve the human well-being. Okay, we look into the target social indicators, and we want to see what we can measure and what we can achieve. And the last point, I think, is the social entrepreneurship. So there was kind of this development of leaving the can to something which is kind of bigger, something which is thought from beforehand, something which we kind of have to plan, and obviously collaborate with the private enterprise, with families, with the general public, in order to come up with a concept so that people can kind of donate and fundraise for. So through this program, we started kind of also implementing bigger ideas. Like, for example, 2 years ago, we opened a youth hostel for students and for interns that come to Malta to be part of YMCA, because that is also a means of how you can fundraise. And also we opened a charity shop.
Mm-hmm.
So we're making good use of second-hand clothes or second-hand items, and we generate fundraising through these means.
So you're exercising almost all means of
Mhm,
fundraising,
mhm.
both at local and national levels.
Yes,
This is
yes.
brilliant. And I have a kind of philosophical question to you. What is the purpose of fundraising to your mind? And extending this question, what are the most difficult things to fundraise for, and what are the
Mhm,
easiest things to fundraise for?
mhm. I think when I look at fundraising, there are kind of two perspectives that I keep in mind. The first one is that if we have to split the word fundraising, it comes into fund and raising. So in a way, it's like raising the funds.
Uh-huh.
But there is also another perspective. The first two words is fun. So I always try to have this in the mind of our volunteers and staff, that we create activities where the base is actually fun.
Oh, this
So
is
I
so
think
cool.
so I think that fundraising is about raising the funds that the NGO or civil societies need. It's about creating activities that are fun, because we need to motivate our team, our volunteers. And I think an important aspect as well about fundraising is creating awareness about what we are doing, what we tell the people out there, listen, this is what YMCA is about. Um, to your second question, I think there is no right or wrong. It's like a trial and error experience. It is about what works and what doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from my experience, slogan is very important. And I can think of a perfect example, the slogan, which is "Diamonds are forever." For example, it's something that it's worldwide. It's you hear it in every language. I mean, artists have also written songs about it. I think it is the best marketing or advertising in the history that worked. And it has become kind of also the culture, you know, that before a wedding you give a diamond to
Uh-huh.
the woman. So I think that in reality it is kind of very difficult to ask for money. So you need to have like a name, an objective, a vision, a plan, and you create a slogan to it. So I think this is a very important message that I want to give. Like for example, in Malta we have last year used the slogan "Spread the love," for
Mm-hmm.
example. Um, the most difficult thing that I have found very difficult to fundraise for are the salaries,
Yeah.
because salaries are very difficult to find funds for it. And I think even if we have to look at EU funding, they are sometimes not included in the package. You can ask for anything, but you can't ask for salaries for the team. And to give you an example, we had to come up with a concept. So we were like thinking, what can we do in order to fundraise money for salaries? Because this is a big expense. So we came up with a concept. There are like 12 months, 52 weeks, 365 days. And we said, let's come up with a 365 campaign. And this is something that really worked in Malta. And we said, listen, we don't want 1,000 euros or 2,000 euros. We simply want 365. It's either a single donation, it's either you collect it as a family, you collect it as a group of friends or a company. And we said we need 800 donations of 365 euros in order to be able to cover all the professional salaries like we have with YMCA Malta. And it worked. we didn't collect the 800 amounts,
Mm-hmm.
but last year only we managed to fundraise like over 66,000 euros. And this year so far, because we have replicated the same campaign, we already managed 6,500 euros. So I think you have to come up with kind of a slogan and with a good concept of how to really fundraise for it.
Yeah, and it also sounds like a good financial strategy, like a good financial plan.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, interesting. And last year and this year is still, these are challenging years, yeah, because of the COVID situation. Do you see any impact on the work that you are doing in terms of fundraising caused by
Ye-
the COVID?
Yes, yes. I think when we think about fundraising, it's the first thing that comes to mind is creating activity where you have to have, contact with the people
Mm-hmm.
that you need the money from. So this was something that it was a learning curve also for us because we had to go completely online.
Yeah.
We had to change our strategy, activities didn't, we had a lot of activities last year that were canceled, that they were postponed. We kept postponing them from one time to another. So we had to come up with a complete plan of how we can create activities that are online. For example, even this one, the 365 campaign, it's not something that requires, putting a table in the street or a banner or meeting people. It's something that you can contact through telephone. It's something that you can use social media for, and it's something that works somehow online. Another example is the 12 appeal. This is something that we have copied from this event and we came up with it this year. And we are saying like 12 months. So we are targeting companies, we are targeting the employees of the companies, and we are saying, listen, give us €1 from your salary every month. And this goes to YMCA. And we're calling it the 12 appeal. We are like appealing to give us €12 every year, €1 every month from your salary. Um, Another example is like a fund. I think this really works as well. It's something that it's coming up on the something that we haven't put out yet. We're calling it Doris Cousins Fund.
Mm-hmm.
Doris Cousins was a volunteer of YMCA. However, unfortunately, she is suffering from dementia. She has worked very hard with YMCA. Also, was one of the people that worked to open a YWCA in Malta. And I think having a fund, having different kind of options for people that can, donate for, it really helps in fundraising. So we are saying that it will be launched on the 8th of March, which is Women's Day. And it's a particular fund where we will help people to bridge their difficulties when they are trying to buy something for themselves. Let's say a vulnerable person that is in need of a laptop but do not have the money to buy the laptop, and they
Yeah.
can apply for this fund in order to um, um, but you also need to think about different ways, because COVID is not about handing a check to YMCA or meeting the person to give you the money. So one concept that we came up with was like SMS donations. So you need
Mm-hmm.
to contact the telephony company and ask whether there is the possibility that you have a specific number that you can use, and people can send an SMS to this number, and for example, they are billed €5, which is then given to YMCA. Revolut is something that we haven't thought about. It's something that we have thought about last year because of COVID. We did not have a business account on Revolut, so this is something that we've done last year. So it's like COVID, if everything was wrong, I think this has helped us to look into ways of how we can fundraise without leaving the office in a way.
Mm-hmm. And it also looks that COVID has made you to be even more creative in
Yes,
the ways
yes,
and the means of
yes, yes.
fundraising. That's great that your exercises so many. As we are speaking to young leaders who have different experience in fundraising so far, not probably huge. So what would be like 3 main tips, 3 main things that are the most important in fundraising?
Mhm. When I was thinking about, um, when I think about this, let's say when I think about this, I think there are 3 important aspects of fundraising. The first and foremost is creating awareness. It's not only about the money.
Mm-hmm.
Everything starts from awareness. You know, you need to make people aware of your project, of the work that you are doing. So I think the first important element is like creating awareness of what YMCA is about, what what your project is about. Secondly, I think it's about creating contact or making relationship with the people or the organization you are approaching. You need to um, uh, create this kind of relationship of disagreement that because you are asking for money, you need to have some kind of relationship with them. And the third one is about creating opportunities because sometimes people don't give you both people and organizations don't give you the money right there and then. So it's also about creating opportunities. It's not about the money you get the minute you speak or the minute you launch a campaign or the minute you do the activity. So I think this is very important, like creating awareness, making contact with people, like creating contact, and also creating opportunities. Because the minute you speak about YMCA, approach people, there you just put a seed there, and it's an opportunity because in the future they might come back to you and say, I've listened or I've heard about this project that you are doing, but now it's the time. Now I'm able to do this. I'm able to donate, to give you some money.
Yeah, this is so true, so true. And you are mentioning building relationships, and part of our conversation at the educational course is also partnership building. And I guess that fundraising is connected with partnership quite closely. Could you please comment on it? How do you see those connections, and what does partnership mean in the process of fundraising?
I think there are, in the process of fundraising, I think there are 2 important elements. The first one is partnering up with companies, with big companies. Companies are always looking for what it's called corporate social responsibility. They always want to say, we have a heart as a company, and we either
Yeah.
send our volunteers to do something like a social cause or an event, or we give the money to this NGO, to this civil society, because we want to be known as a corporate social responsible
Mm-hmm.
company. So I think that partnering with companies in terms of fundraising is very important. Another aspect which I think that civil societies need to work more upon is partnering with ministries, because ministries or governments, they have a vision. So when the vision of the organization and the vision of the government is the same, or they are working for both for a target population that is for both, I think there we have a good element where we can partner and work together. Like for example, when I mentioned the 1.6 million fund, it's coming from the government. Um, so there is something that we can work. We are not tapping a lot in it, but I think it's something that we really need to tap into it, because the government is always with their own agenda and with their own items they need to work on, and civil organizations are really working hard for this. So we need to say, listen, we are doing the work, you don't need to employ the people, give us the money and we do it. So I see these kind of partnership working on both levels. Partnership is also it only works when the partner, when the other person on the other side, I think, really feels that he or she or the company is part of the social impact that you are doing. So I think social impact is a really important topic or message that we need to pass on when we are partnering up with someone that wants to help the organization. And sometimes one of the advantages is not only money, because fundraising is, I see it as not only being given the money, but also as being given volunteers. For example, I mentioned that sometimes they, you have an organization and they say, we can't give you funds, but we can give you 10 volunteers, 10 employees that can come and be part of your activity, for example. Or they can be doing some refurbishment, which is something that really works in Malta. Like a hotel, for example, to give an example, they are doing a refurbishment and they are they are going to throw away, I don't know, a lot of furniture, a lot of chairs, a lot of tables, for example. Do you need them?
Yeah, and I think this is so important that you mentioned that resources, this is not just about money. The resources can be really different, and many organizations, many partners are ready to contribute, with different kind of resources. Yeah, great. I have a couple more questions. What is the right way how to choose to fundraise, and is there a good or right way how to fundraise?
I think the first important thing is that you need to plan for the project you want to fundraise for. You need to have some sort of plan. You need to have like objectives. You need to see how that you can measure it, that you can really have a social impact in society. So you can say, when you go with this plan in front of the people that want to donate, you can say, listen, this is the problem, this is the what we're going to do, this is how we're going to measure it. And when you give us the funds, this is how, how we're going to use these funds. I think the second important aspect is that we should not focus on collecting money. This sounds a little bit weird, but I think that we should not focus on collecting money. I think we should focus on the fun aspect of the activity, because when it's fun, it gets more people to the event. And on those 3 C's I mentioned at the beginning, like creating awareness, creating contact, and creating opportunities. The third step, if we can use the word step, I think, is dividing the revenue. So if you want to get, like, if you need 100 euros, so do I collect them from one fund? Do I collect €1 from 100 individuals? Do I collect 100 euro from families? I think when we divide the revenue, I think it works more and you get more at the end. And build on the resources and impacts. I think showcasing what you've done in the past is important. And also showcasing at the end, you go back to this donor and you say, thank you for the 100 euro you have given me. This is what we have done with it.
Yeah, and I so much agree with this. This is an important message. We are not collecting money. We are creating changes. We are creating impact and having fun. And then we are capable to show it. Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. And the last question, what final advice would you give to leaders who just start their way in this not easy sphere of fundraising and partnership?
I think I will repeat a little bit. You know, make it fun. That is the most important thing, because sometimes fundraising can be very stressful because you have a project in mind, you want to do it, but you don't have the means to do it. So don't let it be stressful to you. Make it fun. I think that belonging to a civil society organization or belonging to YMCA is a very important thing that we forget. I think we need to carry this sense of belonging, you know. YMCA is a worldwide organization. Like we have like 64 million beneficiaries in 120 countries. I think this is something that we need to use more. Because when people hear this, they say, wow, YMCA is really big, you know. Um, um, I think also believing in the project. You have to believe um, um, in the project that you have. And I think that we also need to come up with the repercussions, if I can use this word. If we don't do this project, what will happen? Like if we don't, let me give an example with the homeless. It's like if we don't have this house for homeless, 20, 30 people will be living in the streets. Do you want that? You know, so you create more awareness on the repercussions, and you also allow the other people to believe in your project as well. And the last important message is showcasing the results. I think we should never forget the people who gave you the funding. To give a clear example, you know, use their logos, for example. If it's a company, just put the logos there. Create thank you letters, for example. Send a Christmas card, you know, invite them for coffee. I think this is a very important element in fundraising, because we should always be thankful to those who have allowed us to be able to carry out the projects that we have.
No stress, strong belief in the project.
Yes.
And constantly building relationships.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. That was very meaningful conversation for me, and I believe that it will be the same for the leaders who will listen to it. And I really wish you to create even bigger impacts and to raise even more funds. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.